No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today, I'm having a conversation, which for the record is starting at 5:03, with Ghost of CC Unit, a guy who's been making some waves on the internet, basically hunting down creeps and exposing them on YouTube.
Exactly, yeah. We're here, finally. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for a while. Okay, let's start early in your life. Where are you from?
I'm from San Diego, the 619760.
Okay.
I grew up all over San Diego, but I'm from North County right now.
Okay. And what kind of kid were you in high school and shit?
I mean...
And how old are you right now?
I'm 25.
25, okay.
Yeah, just kind of like a average life. I mean, two parents, brothers, sisters, and grew up. I played sports in high school, and once I got out of high school, I went to college. But I started CC Unit like right after high school, like pretty early on.
So what, had you always thought about being a YouTuber, or where do you think the desire or the idea came from?
Yeah, no, my ambitions was never to be like a YouTuber or like a, influencer or whatever you want to call it. I just liked, to catch a predator, Chris Hansen. And I always liked to be like a detective when I was older. So I was like, and I also knew like people who were affected by this problem. I'm not affected by this, but I knew people who were. And I was like, and then especially in California where how the laws are nowadays, like it's just super lenient on these guys.
Really?
Super, I mean, I'll get into that later.
Yeah, we can get into that later for sure. But I mean, it's interesting that you started it so close to like you being in high school. Because normally when we think about the predator catcher thing, it's usually like adults. But you were like 18, you're like fresh out of high school. So you could have been a victim like a year or two earlier, in theory, at least based on age.
Yeah. I mean, I got out of high school and I was like, there's just so many creep. And then another thing that really caught my eye was if you've heard of Megan's Law. Megan's Law is where like the sex offender list is.
Okay.
So it just shows everybody around you. So I was like, you know what, let me just see how many people are around my area that's, weirdos. So I put in my address and there was tons. I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
There's this much amount of creeps around in my area? And I was like, let me see how many there are in LA, Orange County, and they're literally everywhere.
Right.
I mean, if we put in the address anywhere in the world, they're going to come up. It's crazy.
Wow, that is crazy.
And that's another thing that kind of like, it's like, dude, they're all over the place, And then like sometimes when I watch TV and I would see like how lenient the laws are, like how I said earlier, you see people get like 6 months, not probation, just super lenient stuff. And it's like, why are these guys are the worst of the worst.
So you said that you knew somebody who was affected by it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to drop names, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I knew like some girls who were, obviously, and then...
In terms of like just dating or hanging out with like older dudes that you thought it was kind of like a creepy relationship, or girls who were actually like meeting older guys on the internet?
Both.
Really?
Both. I knew girls who were affected by this in every possible way. Some of them were affected by this through their own family members.
Oh, really?
Some people who were affected by this by, ex-boyfriends and all this and that. I mean, there's countless stories that I could tell.
It is crazy because when I think about being like 13, when I was in 7th grade, that all the girls that we thought were pretty in my grade, they would have dudes like with cars picking them up from school. But at the time, 1997, we didn't even, I didn't really know that this was messed up.
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty common. It's like you see these girls, they go to these parties or whatever, and there's random ass 30-year-olds over there. Like, well, why are they there? Because it's just weird.
Okay, so you were watching To Catch a Predator, or were you watching any of the like online predator hunters that are out there?
No, I was actually one of the first ones.
Oh, really?
To be honest with you, yeah, I started back in 2018.
Okay.
I started back. I remember the first day I actually did my first catch. It was August 2nd, 2018.
Okay. How do you set the bait?
So I don't want to like give out all my strategies because I still catch creeps.
But you use a lot of different sites, right?
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no one site that is just your best.
Oh
version.
yeah, there's not like one particular app or one website that I use. I use all of them.
Okay.
All of them, and obviously we set up these accounts wherever we want to decoy on, and we pose all types of different ages: 12, 13, 11, 10, 9, 4 years old, 5 years old.
4-year-olds.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
I guess there probably are 4-year-olds using the internet. It's kind of hard for me to imagine, but I'm sure that it does happen.
Yeah, and they come running these.
Must be
creeps.
weird texting, pretending to be a 4-year-old.
Well,
Like, what do you write? Like,
well, I'm usually not the decoy.
okay, so you don't do that side of it so much?
Yeah. I don't do that side of it so much. I usually do the confrontation where I go
Right.
meet them in person.
So you have a whole team at this point?
Oh yeah, I have decoys, security, camera crew, people who talk to non-emergency cops and all that. We have a whole squad. That's why it's called the CC unit.
And all volunteers, just people who believe in this mission?
Oh yeah, most of them are volunteers, and sometimes I do like I don't want to drop names, but I do pay sometimes.
Right. Okay, but so setting the bait, you make an account on all these different platforms or whatever, and then do you wait for somebody to message you or do you message them first?
Yeah, so we wait for them to message us. We never reach out first.
Because that would make it too entrapment-y?
Yeah, I mean, technically, private citizen. I'm not a cop, obviously. I'm just a regular, ordinary Joe off the street, average citizen, private citizen, and technically, we can't entrap. Even if we do message them first, we can't entrap because entrapment only applies to law enforcement.
Okay.
So, even if we wanted to, we could message them technically, but
If you want to make the best possible legal case, like the
Exactly.
highest chance of a conviction, it's better for them to message you.
exactly, yeah, it's best for them to message us, and then it's just a lot better of a case, solid case for them to get arrested and then convicted.
And so do you have, you don't have it in your bio like 10 years old, right? You just
We do
tell
sometimes.
Okay.
We do.
Or is
literally.
it better to just tell them once you've been talking to them for a little bit?
Either way, I mean, we've done it in both strategies before.
Right. And some of the ones that I've clicked on, it's like you spend like long periods of time talking to them. Like sometimes the guys will talk to you for a little while and then they'll just go ghost and then they'll return and then that's when you get them.
Well, yeah, it all really depends on the creep himself. Some of them will come out in a day. Like the first day they contact,
They're eager.
they're ready to go, and then sometimes they'll take months, if not a year. So it all really depends on the creep.
Okay. And so then once you have them in your sights, what's the average thing that you say to try to meet up with them? And what kind of spots do you meet up?
I mean, we've met them up everywhere. We've met them up at stores, piers, malls, at their house, at the decoy's house, parks.
Do you prefer to do it in public? I would think that would be safer than their house.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it's safer in public, but we have went to their house. Like, for example, the creep that we're going to catch tonight after this podcast, we're going to go to his house.
Wow. And do you know anything about them?
Oh, yeah. Most of the time before we confront them, we literally know everything about them. We know their name, criminal history, what they do for a job, what they drive, where they live, how old they are, like literally everything.
Okay. See, that soothes one of my concerns, which is that I would be scared that I'm accidentally meeting up with somebody who's like in the cartel or some shit, and they're just going to kill me as soon as as they figure out what's going on. Not that the cartel would ever do such a thing, but any like crazy criminals, like, so do you try to make sure that they like don't have a criminal history or a violent history? But
I like it when they have a criminal history. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
It's because it's easier for them to get arrested. Because
okay.
once they get caught, the DA or the cops, they're like, oh, this guy already has a criminal history. He has a rap sheet. It's just easier to prosecute these guys. Some of them are on probation already for other crimes.
Right.
Some of them are on parole. It's just easier to get them locked up.
Okay, that makes sense. But do you ever look at their criminal history and you're like, oh, he shot somebody before? maybe he's going to shoot me.
Oh yeah. We've definitely taken that into consideration. There was a guy that we caught. He was arrested previously before he got arrested in our sting. He was arrested for attempted murder, robbery,
Right.
Concealed dagger.
Dagger. Wow.
We've seen all types of charges with these guys, and then obviously some of them are registered sex offenders already.
Right. I need everybody to check out NoJumper.com. We officially started a blog. It has in-depth articles about current events, music, etc., plus all of our content in terms of podcasts, interviews, etc. And you can get some exclusive new merch if you check out NoJumper.com. So make sure you tap in.